Hi, everyone. I'm Heben.
I'm Tracy.
And welcome to another round with Heben and Tracy.
Woo, yay!
Yay! I'm so excited that we have comedian, writer, funny person in my life, Yassir Lester, in the stewed.
In the stewed. Also, I feel like I should tell everybody that I might be still drunk from last night.
And she's still drinking now. So it's going to be a fun show, guys.
Sorry, Mom.
I'm excited that this episode we're debuting a segment I wish we could call This African American Life.
Wish that we could legally call it This African American
But our lawyers
Life.
advise us otherwise.
Lawyers are just
so the segment is called Our Lawyer Won't Let Us Call It This African American Life. Thanks for listening, y'all. This is a segment where we tell stories of African American lives. I'm Shmira Glass. Welcome. Just kidding, Ira Glass, I love you. Anyways, this week we're thinking a lot about the 10th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Albert Samaha is BuzzFeed's criminal justice reporter, and he was down in New Orleans recently reporting on a few stories, and he's so good at finding people to really talk about the things that are happening there in like not abstract ways, you know? Like the way this relates to people's lives. So he worked on a piece for us, which I'm really excited about, where he tells the story of New Orleans' broken criminal justice system through the eyes of a man kind of grinding to stay out of it.
I met Jesse Cage in front of a barbershop in the Central City neighborhood of New Orleans on a balmy and rainy afternoon in July. He's a tall dude in a snapback hat and a long-sleeve shirt, 36 years old, and he smiles like a politician on a campaign trail, which around these blocks is almost a little true.
Like I said, I got a lot of support. Like everywhere I go, people know me because I'm a well-known guy around here.
Yeah. We huddled close to the barbershop's wall, trying to stay dry, and Jesse told me his Katrina story. Everybody in New Orleans has a Katrina story. Jesse and his auntie and uncle left New Orleans the day before the storm hit. He was 26 at the time and drove them to Houston. They had family there. They didn't plan to stay long and return to New Orleans a few months later. The city was a shell of its old self, and the streets around their Central City neighborhood were quiet and empty.
I came back like soon as they opened the doors around here because I was responsible for my auntie and my uncle, which was older people. They was like 70, 80 years old. So, you know, by them raising me, I was responsible for bringing them in Houston for the storm, getting them back, and my uncle had Alzheimer's, so they put
As
me in
Jesse's
charge
uncle
of.
was dying of Alzheimer's, Jesse decided it was his duty to take care of him. His uncle and auntie had done as much for him decades before.
So they pretty much raised me, you know what I'm saying, right around the corner on the middle street. So I'm out this area. My mom was in jail when I was born and stuff. My mom and dad, so I was born in jail actually. So that's the wild part about my life.
Jesse was born in an East Baton Rouge state prison, where his mother, a New Orleans native, was serving her sentence. He was born during an era when incarceration rates in New Orleans were rising higher and faster than anywhere else in the country. In the 3 decades before the storm, the city's jail population increased tenfold, even though the city's overall population declined. By 2005, 1 out of every 77 residents in New Orleans was in jail. That's more than double the rate of the city in second place, Baltimore, more than 4 times the national average. Tulane law professor Catherine Matz calls New Orleans ground zero for incarceration in the world. Sentences in Louisiana are among the harshest in the country. The second time a person is charged for weed possession, it becomes a felony. 3 drug convictions can mean life without parole. These stacked sentences are particularly dangerous in New Orleans, where the criminal justice system is largely funded through the fines and fees paid by the defendants who pass through it. The system overwhelmingly sweeps up the city's low-income residents. More than 80% of defendants in New Orleans can't afford a lawyer. Derwin Button, who has been the city's chief public defender since 2009, sees the daily toll the system takes on the city's poorest.
We criminalize a lot of conduct. Our sentences are pretty severe. And you couple that with a lot of poverty and lack of resources all the way around, you get a pretty bad mix. And so our criminal justice system affects everything for people from housing to education to economic opportunities.
Katrina wiped out the system as it stood, flooding courthouses and jails and driving lawyers and judges out of town. So they rebuilt it from scratch. Now there's more oversight of the police department, the sheriff's office, and the court system. The jail population dropped. Police arrested fewer people. The city and state, for the first time, created a full-time public defender's office. But to walk into the criminal courthouse on any given day, it's clear that the progress didn't reach every resident equally. There's Bernard Noble, the father of 7, who got a 13-year mandatory minimum for possession of 2.8 grams of weed because he had 2 prior drug convictions. Or Quincy Briggs, sentenced to 50 years in prison for possession of heroin with intent to distribute because of his 2 prior felonies. There are dozens more in orange jumpsuits who stream into the court every day to face their charges for the first time, and nearly all of them are black. At the courthouse, I meet Terry, a 20-something New Orleans native.
All different races of these same kind of criminal things, but when it comes down to a black person.
Every few weeks, when he comes back for his girlfriend's hearings, he sees rooms filled with black people, when he knows damn well that black people aren't the only ones committing crimes. To his mind, police are targeting black people, sweeping them up into the court system at highly disproportionate rates. Even though the proportion of black residents in the city has dipped from 67% to 59% since Katrina, black defendants make up around the same portion of the jails and courtrooms. It's more than 80%. It's a system that Norris Henderson has seen from both sides of the bar. He served 27 years in prison before a judge overturned his murder conviction. These days, he works with ex-offenders as they transition back into the outside world. When he arrives at the courthouse in the morning, Norris sees families streaming in.
Look at the line of people coming in this building. You can see the impact.
Families who have taken days off work to attend a hearing. Families who have scraped together whatever they can to pay for a lawyer or bail out a loved one. The impact of the system goes beyond the folks in the orange jumpsuits sitting on the benches inside the courtroom. It goes into the neighborhoods and households. This ripple effect is why a decade of reforms can't erase the many years of poverty and oppression. For decades, husbands and wives, mothers and fathers got locked up. That means that generations of children, like Jesse, grew up with parents who weren't around.
They probably had for drugs and burglary back then, I'm guessing. My daddy probably was a burglar man and, some stuff like that. He had a lot of time. He came home like about 90, so he came home, I was like 10. My mama was left and better herself. She moved to California, left for like 17 years.
And so Jesse's uncle and auntie raised him in the Cali projects. He had a sharp business sense from the time he was young. When he was 10, he opened a car wash stand. When he was 12, he bought his first car, an old rusty thing for a few $100s, and resold it for a few $100 more. But by his mid-teens, he realized that the best business opportunity was doing what the older dudes around him were doing.
So, back in the G, we was growing up, we was young, wild guys, growing up in the street. Everybody in my family come from a rough background, but some of us is work, like myself personally, I'm working on developing myself, getting better, because like whatever I might have did in my past, I don't do nothing like that.
What you used to do in your past?
I mean, I was arrested for drugs, so that tell you a lot.
He got arrested for drug possession and he got 2 years of probation. Then he got picked up for violating that probation. He served 90 days in jail. The way drug laws work in Louisiana, another drug arrest and Jesse would be doing serious felony prison time, which he knew. He had 6 kids, and over the course of those 90 days, he thought about them growing up without their father, like he did.
Well, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do when I go home because, I want to better myself.
He tried many businesses, selling homemade t-shirts, real estate, construction cleaning, but nothing made him any money. Then one day in jail, it hit him. Coffee. Jesse woke up smelling coffee every day of his childhood. So many people drank it, he figured. Headed to work with their paper cups from Starbucks or some other coffee shop probably owned by white people. None of that money going back into his own community.
And I had a vision, so I figured once I come across some money, get my credit right, or ever invested car, I could just dump the money into this business. This is what I want to do, open a coffee shop. Yeah.
He read The Idiot's Guide to Coffee. He researched online different ways of brewing and different types of coffee beans. He practiced making coffee at home.
It's really simple. Like you roast the beans to the brown beans and you grind it up. So it's easy as I'm saying, but it's a process you do. So by me studying the business for years and going to different experts, talking to them and going online, and to me it's easy, but it's something I love doing. Yeah. Because for me to be stuck in a situation ain't making no money at the moment, it's what people crack, man. And I was blessed to be, pretty much do a lot of research myself. So I discovered a way to get it like in 150-pound sack at a time where I get it for a better price and more. So that's the route I take.
Then he hit the streets, block parties and flea markets, handing out sample packs of grounds out his trunk. He gave them to people he struck up conversations with at the barbershop.
I guess it's like give back to the community, some people say. I look at it as marketing, but a lot of people say, you helping people by getting a cup of coffee.
He gave me some too. It tasted pretty good.
And so all the story went, I've been really pushing it, got real websites and stuff, and I got like 5 distributors that's like my family and friends that gonna be helping me sell it. So basically, I'm just creating more opportunities in the community and worldwide.
Not every story goes the way Jesse's has gone. He knows he was lucky. He didn't get picked up by the police on this, there, or that, and he didn't get charged for crimes he may or may not have committed. And so he didn't get caught up in the spiral. A felony follows a person even after prison. Not everybody returns to the outside world with ambitions of starting a new business. Most folks just want a job, and if they can't find a job, they need another way to survive. Joe is a longtime defense lawyer. He has seen it happen over and over.
Jail's about breaking down his manhood, so when he comes out, he's not the same person when he went in. If he's strong enough not to get broken down, when he come back out, he's still a man. He's going to do what he needs to do to support his family. He can't get a job. He can't get a house. You can't go to school. Most of these lifers and long-timers, they got their GEDs while they were in jail. A lot of them, when they couldn't read and write, they come out writing better than lawyers write. You learn all these skills in jail, but you can't apply them because when you come out here, they say, oh, you got a record.
And so locals talk about a frustration that has built in New Orleans over the years, a frustration that has deepened since the storm, as they watched the recovery spread unevenly across the city. To those locals, there is a sense of being forgotten about as the rest of the city rebuilds and moves forward.
It's so been entrenched here that it's going to take a minute.
Norris Henderson, the guy who helps ex-convicts get back on their feet, says the poverty is deeply entrenched, and so is the sense of hopelessness. And if the city's circumstances don't change soon, he says, they're going to have a Ferguson or Baltimore on their hands. And all it's going to take is one incident to spark the powder keg. And bam. Escaping that entrenched sense of hopelessness is part of Jesse's challenge. His story, like his business, has only started. He's always been a businessman, but his current business makes him less money than his previous endeavors. His friends ask him why he's grinding like this and not balling like he used to, not driving the same car. On a good month, he'll make about $1,000 in profits.
Right now, I'm struggling right now in the business. Right now at the mall, I'm struggling, you know what I'm saying? But I'm keeping it running. Because, you know, the money I make right now, to be honest, ain't enough to really save. I might make $40, I might make $100, I might make a couple of hundred here. But it's only enough to live. But it's worth it.
Jesse's past still hovers over him. He has a misdemeanor on his record, and one slip-up could send him to prison for years. And there are his actions in his past life, too, still lingering in some memories. Despite all that, Jesse feels he's blessed.
So I got pretty much everything I need to get where I want.
He's talking about business. He's talking about having the materials and knowledge he needed to, as he put it, take his company worldwide. A New Orleans Times-Picayune investigation a few years ago calculated that 1 out of every 7 black men in New Orleans was locked up, on parole, or on probation. There were 10 times more black men than white men from New Orleans in state prison. Those numbers are directly tied to the statistic so many in the city have memorized. According to a 2011 Loyola University study, more than half of black men in New Orleans were unemployed or out of the labor force. It's a cycle that Jesse was born into. It's a cycle that easily could have swept him up. And yet here he is, still grinding, still trying to escape it.
That was Albert Samaha, one of BuzzFeed's criminal justice reporters, and he has a big article up on BuzzFeed.com, the website, called Indefensible, the story of New Orleans public defenders. And you can find it at BuzzFeed.com/Katrina Anniversary, and you can find other pieces that Albert has written at BuzzFeed.com/Albert Samaha. And you can follow him on Twitter at Albert Samaha, and that is AlbertSamaha. Thanks, Albert.
As you guys know, I've been sharing some inspirational Kanye quotes with you. Decided to switch it up today. Here are some inspirational words from Nicki Minaj, the queen, the god, the boss. This is the classic pickle juice speech. I didn't want to start without everyone having that foundation for Nicki's speeches. It's informally called the pickle juice speech. It's not intrigued. like the formal name of it. She didn't give this before the Library of Congress. She should have. This comes from a longer MTV documentary she did a while ago called My Time Now. And now for some inspirational words from Nicki Minaj.
When I come to a photo shoot, let it be of quality. You know why? Because I put quality in what I do. I spend time and I spend energy and I spend effort and I spend everything I have, every fiber of my being to give people quality. So if I turn up to a photo shoot and you got a $50 clothes budget and some sliced pickles on board, you want to know what? No, I am going to leave. Is that wrong for wanting more for myself, wanting people to treat me with respect? But you know what? Next time they know better. But had I accepted the pickle juice, I would be drinking pickle juice right now. When I am assertive, I'm a bitch. When a man is assertive, he's a boss.
Bossed up.
He bossed up.
Yeah, he bossed up.
No negative connotation behind bossed up, but lots of negative connotation behind being a bitch. Donald Trump could say, you're fired. Let Martha Stewart run her company the same way and be the same way. Oh, evil. But Donald Trump, he gets to hang out with young and have 50 different wives and just be cool. Oh, Donald, we love you. Donald Trump. But when you're a girl, you have to be like everything. You have to be dope at what you do, but you have to be super sweet. And you have to be sexy. And you have to be this. And you have to be that. And you have to be nice. And you have to... It's like, I can't be all those things at once. I'm a human being. I don't mean to be ranting and raving like this. Don't use this footage, please. It's just gonna make me look stupid.
I'm a boss ass bitch.
Iconic.
Bitch, I'm a boss ass bitch. Bitch, I'm a boss ass.
Yo, I employ these niggas. They be grown men, but I little boy these niggas. Want the cookie, so I got the Chips Ahoy these niggas. But I never iPhone, Android these niggas.
So we are so excited to have Yassir Lester on the show.
Yay.
He's most recently written for the 5th season of Girls. He's written for a lot of Adult Swim shows like the 2nd season of Black Dynamite,
Robot Chicken, which I love.
Mr.
Girl,
Pickles.
I was an intern on Robot Chicken.
We went deep into your IMDb profile. Welcome to the show.
Hey!
Whistle.
Yeah.
I'm so excited you're here.
Welcome.
All right. Excited.
Yeah.
I just saw you like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Let her be excited,
I know.
okay?
Can I live?
Allow her to be
Also,
excited.
Why are you excited to be here?
Yeah, I'm allowed to be excited because like I'm the guest, so it's
Right,
like
right.
I'm coming into a new space. You know what I'm saying? This is y'all's thing, but on the other end, it's like this is another day for y'all. And it's just
True,
me.
but I'm excited we caught you before you go back to LA. You're from LA, right?
Now I'm from Georgia.
Oh, you're from Georgia.
Wait. Before we get into all this, we
Yeah.
have to start with our opening question.
Okay.
What do you do and why?
I'm a stand-up comedian and a writer, and why? Because I grew up in a single-parent household. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Well, okay, talk to us a little bit about where you grew up and like what your childhood was like.
Okay. Marietta's a weird place because it's like low-key very segregated still.
Low-key?
Yeah.
Does anyone ever mean low-key when they mean low-key? High-key?
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Well, because not enough people know anything about Marietta. You know what I'm saying?
I know nothing.
Exactly.
So tell us about Marietta. What is it?
All right. The most famous thing, the two most famous things, Alton Brown, the Food Network guy who's like, I'm a dork. Some caption,
Incredible impersonation.
like he always talks about. I hate it. But anyway, he's from Marietta, and then we have the largest KFC on the Eastern Seaboard.
My God!
So what? It has a gift shop in it.
You lying.
I swear it's called the Big Chicken, and it's a KFC with a giant chicken head on it, and like the beak opens and the
So
eyes
like what kind
twirl.
of items can you find in the gift shop?
You can buy various decorative pins. You can get a hoodie. You can get gift cards. All kinds.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Who is sending someone a KFC gift card?
I
Well,
would
I mean,
enjoy a KFC gift
But here's
card.
like, think about what kind of a mindset you have to be in your entire life that like where how you give directions is in relation to the Big Chicken. Like, that's a real thing. People will be like, all right, so go up 2 miles, you're gonna make a left at the Big Chicken. Like, and the name of the street is Cobb Parkway. You could just say Cobb Parkway. But people always use it was our North Star.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you identify as a Southerner?
Yeah, sadly.
Oh, wait, hey. Come on.
I'm not mad that I'm one, but sometimes it would be doper to just be like, yeah, I'm a dude from LA. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's something dope about a dude who's like from LA or like a big city, like it's just like Harlem all day. Like, I would love to be a dude that just said Harlem, you know, but everyone's like, and I'm like, Marietta, Georgia. Like, what are you talking about? Like, biscuits? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have biscuits.
Everybody loves biscuits.
Who doesn't love biscuits?
Heaven is our resident biscuit connoisseur.
I'm an amateur biscuit connoisseur.
She's working on it, though.
So you're literally not a connoisseur. You're an amateur. You're just someone who likes biscuits right now.
You know, I wanted a title, okay?
Okay. Well, it works.
So how did you get to LA? Like, what made you decide to move?
All right. Well, I always wanted to do stand-up. Like, I had 3 professions in mind. I was like, I'm either going to be a stand-up comedian or a comic book artist or an astrophysicist. Those were the 3 things. And I was like, wait a second. I'm actually bad at anything that requires knowledge. So I immediately took out astrophysicist. And then I was like, okay, low key, again, very, very much too lazy to want to draw all the time. So I can't be an artist.
Left with
So I was just like, I mean, jokes seem easy enough.
Yeah.
So I saved a little bit of money. I turned 21, and then 3 days later, I was in LA. I just packed I didn't have a place to live.
That's
like,
crazy.
I found an
people talk
apartment.
about doing that, I'm just like, how?
Here's the thing. Like, I'm 31 now, so 10 years. If you asked me to do that today, I'd be like, you are out of your mind.
Insane,
You
yes.
are out of your mind. But it's like, you know, you're a kid still. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're brave. And I mean, it was so dumb, though.
You're
everything,
brave and foolish is what you are.
Yeah. I mean, 'cause everything could have gone wrong, and a lot of stuff did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. And then I ended up in LA, and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know if I want to start stand up right now. So I'm gonna just get a job writing on a TV show, because I thought it was like super easy.
Right.
So that didn't happen, and I worked at Best Buy for a number of months. Worked at restaurants, and then I was like an internal robot chicken and like a PA on weeds, and like I just took job after job after job until things started happening. And then I finally started doing stand up like 3 years later. But I did do stand up once in Atlanta when I was 19.
How'd that go?
Oh my God, it was the worst.
Do you remember the jokes?
If you really want to hear,
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm 19. You weren't supposed to do it unless you were 21. By the way, when I was 19, I looked 5 years old. Like, I mean, like, so there was no way that anyone would have believed that I was 21. But I was like, I don't have my ID, and they're like, you're an idiot. Just give us the money, because you had to pay to do it. I give them the money, and there was this just. I wish I could remember his name, because he shaped everything about me. But it was just like this. I know it was like just this old wise nigga who was just like, you know what, dog? I see a lot of potential in you, and I want you to reach, dig deep, and tell us about your feelings. So like,
You met a magical Negro.
yeah.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. So I go on stage, and I just bomb. My first joke was about like I had heard, you remember the stupid like urban legend when everyone was like, all dollars have traces of drugs on them. Yes. So I like did a joke about that. Then at 19 years old, I did a joke. It was like, I don't want to ever turn 40 because your boy ain't trying to get his prostate checked. That seems crazy, you know. So to a room full of 40-year-olds, what appears to be a 12-year-old boy is like, prostates are the worst, right? Yo, give me some, you know, like.
So you were basically a comic view comedian.
Yes, just stomping and yelling. I did a cartwheel off stage, you know, like.
Did you also have a Steve Harvey suit?
No,
like
I didn't.
Really long jacket.
You know what's so crazy is I didn't have anything nice to wear. All I had was a pair of like these Tommy Hilfiger carpenter jeans
Oh my
that
God.
I
Carpenter
literally
jeans.
wore every single day. So at least people would be like, "Oh, those are Tommy though." You know what I'm saying? Like, so I wore that, and I borrowed a work shirt from my mom, like the shirt from her like company retreat. It was like a polo shirt with like the logo on, like her company logo on it. So I look like an idiot, and then so I get off stage, and the old mystical Negro was just like, "Wow." Like, you wasn't talking about nothing. Like, at all, were you? I was like, I mean, I guess not. And he's like, watch what I do when I go up there. Watch me. And I was like, okay. So he goes on stage. The stage, by the way, is decorated to look like a living room, right? So there's like a couch, and there's a nightstand, and then there's like a tall halogen standing lamp. And then there's a plant on the nightstand. I know it seems ridiculous, but that's how they decorated it. And he gets on stage, and he starts pointing out things on the stage. So he's like, look at this couch. Wow. This is an old ass couch. Nobody is sitting on that couch. And look at this nightstand. That is an old ass nightstand. Ain't nobody putting nothing on. And then he did that for every single thing that was on stage.
That was his set?
That was the entire
Did the
set.
audience laugh?
Not at all. Then he gets off stage and he walks right up to me and he goes, now did you see how comfortable I was? And I was like, but you bombed. Like, I was comfortable too. So anyway, if I ever meet that dude, I'm gonna give him $75,000 and be like, thank you for changing my perspective on life.
How did you like describe your comedy?
It's usually I think of a funny lie and then I try to make it sound like the truth.
I feel like your Twitter is kind of like that fits that description. Do you use Twitter as like kind of a testing ground?
No, Twitter is the one thing like
If you guys aren't following Yassir on Twitter, guys, you're losing.
Then you are
quite
probably
losing.
enjoying Twitter. If you're not following, then you're probably having a good day. No, Twitter is like the one thing where I kind of just like, I'm like, that's a thought, and then it's done. I usually don't. If something goes on Twitter, I won't like say it on stage or anything. But it's like the one, like, I'm very narcissistic in the way that I'm like, everyone should listen to what I have to say.
Yes.
And then I'm just like,
Same.
all fat girls are sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, let the world hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never anything
The
of
people need to
importance.
know.
Yeah. So, you know.
I feel like comedians are very sensitive about Twitter.
Yeah.
Not just like their Twitter, but like
Right.
the feedback they get.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Why are comedians so sensitive? Why can't they like just rationally
Because
respond to criticism?
every comic is a psychopath. Every single one of them. And I wish you could be like, oh, this one's well adjusted. But it's like the quietest ones are crazier than the loud ones. You know what I mean? And it's like everyone's an egomaniac. And like, this is a conversation I've had with friends of mine before. But to be good at anything, you have to think, even when you're the worst, that you're the best at it and that you're going to change the world, right? So if it's like you're a dude on Twitter who has nothing and you think you're like tweeting fire and everyone's like, you're ugly and stupid, you know what I'm saying? Like that hurts you on a personal level.
But I don't even mean like that kind of stuff. I
Right.
mean like comedians who are like, they did a joke and like people are like, yo, that's fucked up. And they like just melt down and like start like
Yeah.
responding to every
People
fucking
are too
Yeah.
sensitive these days.
Yeah.
Political correctness is gonna ruin comedy.
Yeah.
Rawr.
There's so much of that.
Well, okay. Like,
Ooh, all right, where's this
Yeah.
going?
I definitely think we shouldn't be offending people. Like, I think that's crazy, you know. But I do also think, like, we are in this weird age of where people would rather not talk about stuff and pretend that they're being PC about it than actually having the conversation. Now, for the sake of argument, if I made a joke that offended someone, I would so much rather them be like, this is why you shouldn't say that, or like marginalize or
Right.
whatever, you know, than just someone being like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no learning happening anymore, you know? So it's like, I feel like, yes, people are complaining, like, you hear the Seinfeld argument where people are saying, or he's saying that, like, everything's too PC and people are losing their minds. And then people are losing their minds because of that statement. But no one's learning anything. Everyone is just saying, like, I should be able to say whatever I want. And then, you know, everyone else is like, no, you can't. But no one's meeting in the middle and being like, wait, why shouldn't we say this? Or like, Why is this offensive to group A versus group B or whatever it is, you know? Like, again, for the sake of argument, like, people, I don't know. Like, okay, Cecil the Lion.
Oh my God. Let's start there.
People are so much more comfortable talking about Cecil the Lion than the Black Lives Matter campaign. Yes. Or, you know, girls being sold into sex slavery or whatever it is, you know. And it's because there's no gray area for that, right? The line is just like, you shouldn't kill an animal.
Right.
Yeah, we can agree with that. Because there's no dialogue that needs to be had. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone's just like, no, I defend lion murder. You're like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, you sound crazy. But because there's no... There doesn't need to be a real confrontation, and not necessarily a confrontation where you get loud, but I mean a confrontation or just a facing of your own feelings or whatever it is, your own thought process. People can have that conversation, and I think that's what annoys me about the whole comedy being PC or whatever argument is that people would rather not talk than just look inward a little bit and be like, why does this make me uncomfortable?
Right.
Or like,
basic
why
reflection.
can't we? Right, exactly.
Yes. So you've done most of your stand-up in LA.
Yes.
Are you mostly on sets or on lineups that are like the brown lineup or like a mixed lineup? Are you always the brown guy in a white lineup?
I intentionally mix it up, right? So when I'm doing the quote unquote like white shows or alt shows or whatever, 99% of the time
you guys didn't see the eye roll.
I am the black dude. You know what I'm saying? Which also a lot of times is induces guilt, because when you're the black dude on a show, they're like, oh, well, we don't need a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
quota has been filled.
Yeah.
Quota has been met.
Jesus.
Right. So every time for every show of those that I do, I'm like, all right, I need to be on the blackest show. And it's just a dude.
Myself.
It's just a dude named Hot Sauce. It's me and Hot Sauce doing our thing. You know?
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's definitely a mix.
When you are in like those white audiences, I feel like your jokes are, well, your sense of humor is black as fuck.
Yeah.
But like, how do you test out, like comedy's all about testing out jokes in front of an audience.
Yeah.
How do you test out black jokes in front of a white audience that's like, it might not even be legible to them?
I literally do the joke, and then I'll hear the 4 black people in the show laugh, and I go, okay, that one works. I'm not even kidding. Then I take it to a black room and it works. Or I'll do a quote unquote white joke in a black room, and then, the 3 white people that are there on accident, they'll laugh. And I'll go, okay, I'll take it to the other one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty easy. Like, and again, it's not like everyone has access to everything now because of the internet. You know what I mean? So you can, for whatever reason, you can talk about Imagine Dragons, and some hood motherfuckers will get the reference. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I seen that commercial. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like people need to give just everyone more credit for, you know what I'm saying? It's like, again, like, it's surprising how many white people know Migos. You know what I mean? Like, granted, they're more of like a meme at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone kind of knows them, but again, like, I feel like everyone kind of knows everything now. It's really weird.
I think that's pretty generous to white people.
You think so?
Meaning, I know all of their references. I can do the Imagine Dragons joke and like a Migos joke to a black audience.
Right.
Yeah.
But they also don't have to. You know what I'm saying?
They never do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a much bigger conversation, clearly. But like
about white people and they're seeing our humanity.
Well, that, and also just like, if you have everything at your disposal, like, why seek out things that have nothing to do with you? Whereas if you're a black person in this country, to get by, you have to know everything. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have survived high school unless I knew references from Jagged Little Pill. You know what I mean? Like, and that album was already 10 years old when I was in high school. But I was like, track 3. Yeah, I love that one.
Oh, man.
Black people like the family aspect of comedy. They really like talking about things that really do affect everyone. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is talking about your family or your neighborhood or your childhood, whatever it is. Whereas white people, I find, they very much like specific referces. So it is something like talking about like the Lumineers or something. People are like, yeah, Whereas black people are just like, Aunt Cheryl. And they're like, yeah, I got an Aunt Cheryl. So it's just like the same way that like I feel like all black people have 3 family reunions a year and white people have 1 family reunion every 30 years. You know what I mean? Like the sense of community kind of overtakes everything with black people. So like even I think the comedy reflects that.
So what's it like writing for like a black show like Black Dynamite and then writing for a not black show like Girls?
Well, okay, Black Dynamite's an exception because number one, it's a cartoon,
right.
and it's a very broad cartoon. So we could do whatever we want. Like, I mean, we had an episode where like Michael Jackson was an alien. We had another episode where, I mean, now it's very telling, but Bill Cosby turns out to be an evil dude.
Oh my God. Wait, can we pause for a second here?
Yeah.
So did you know about this?
100% yes.
Everyone in the comedy community already knew this.
Yeah. Okay. So, do y'all know who Gerard Carmichael is? I'm assuming you do. Yes,
I do not.
Okay. He's another comic. He's got a show coming out on NBC. Very funny young man, but he's been one of my best friends since I started. We started around the same time. I remember Gerard telling me when we started having the conversation, but he's like, "Yeah, but Bill Cosby," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And he explained the Bill Cosby nickname, and I was like, "Number one, I didn't know he was called Bill Cosby,
Jesus
and
Christ.
secondly, when he told me everything, I was like, okay, low key."
Wow.
Can't like this guy anymore.
So how long ago was it that you learned about Bill Cosby?
7 years ago.
Wow.
And so I started thinking that people knew it, and apparently, like when it all came out, I was like, "Wait, y'all didn't know about that? That was like a popular." No. And then everyone was like, "I had no idea." So, but yeah, it's in comedy, it was a very known thing. That's why when Hannibal said it. He probably wasn't thinking that it wasn't like at the forefront of people's minds. He was just saying a thing that he was like, yeah, we all know this. And then, when the Huffington Post picks it up, there's a shift abound, The problem with Bill is that clearly, number one, there was what seems to be 1 million, women. And, he did it for decades, and I know we should probably stop.
Yeah, we can change the topic. I'm sorry,
no, it's crazy. It is crazy.
Let's talk about Girls for a little bit. What is writing for Girls been like?
It's insane. It's so cool, but like, okay, so number one, I love it. I love the staff, but I thought I was gonna have a weird transition in being like, our lifestyles are different, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not...
You're not like a Brooklynite white girl?
Right. And that actually hasn't been the challenge. The challenge is that I don't know New York culture. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know how deep y'all are into the theater game, but like, apparently people in New York love theater, so they're like, everyone's at work is like, "Oh, have you seen Skylight?" And I'm like, riveting. Wow, yes. Yes, of course that. That's actually been the most challenging. But like in terms of like the broad jokes and all that stuff, like I'm on board and I totally get it. It's just I didn't realize how nuanced of a show it was about New York until number one, I moved here, and number two, they would be like, "Oh, we should talk about this kind of person," and I'm like, "Yeah, we should get them because they deserve it." And an old Clinton Hill loser, like.
So if we asked like the Girls writing staff to like describe you, what would they say about you?
They'd be like, he probably yells once a day something really weird. He's on his phone, looking up references, and then he'll pitch a joke that literally doesn't make sense.
Okay, so, I'm gonna follow up about that.
Okay, I think they like me. I stuck around.
I heard a rumor that Malia Obama was an intern on Girls.
Yeah. Did you hear that rumor from all the major newspapers?
Yes. I read it in the newspaper.
She was, and she is. Okay. Pretty much every teenager is cool to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
same.
Anytime no matter what feeling I have about myself in any moment, whatever a teenager describes me as, that's what I go with. I'm like, that is the truth. So if I feel great about myself and they're like, you look old and ugly today, I'm like, oh, I should have died 3 years ago. Or if I'm like wearing just like nasty sweatpants and like eating a hot dog and they're like, yo, I've never seen someone be so brave. I'm like, yes, yes,
I am brave.
I'm a champion of this generation.
The teens be knowing. The teens
be knowing. That being said, Malia is the queen of all teenagers.
Yes!
She is the coolest person I've
Tell us
ever
more. Tell us more.
I just like, you just like, okay, for the sake of argument, if I were the child of a president, if anyone looked me in the eyes, I would be like, someone strike that person down with a sword immediately. But it's like she has, it's this weird thing where it's just like she's so confident, and it's not like a celebrity confidence. It's just like she's like, I know who I am, I know what I want, like I've seen the world, I know what people are like everywhere, so I can just be myself. She talks to you like a human. She's very much just like, hey, did you see Love and Hip Hop this week? And I'm like, yes, yes, I did, Malia.
Wait, she watches Love and Hip Hop?
Here's the craziest thing. So we're talking about Love and Hip Hop, and she was like, yeah, did you see when, what's his name, Mendices or whatever? She was like, you see when he did this? And I was just like, yeah, I did. And then she was like, yeah, then my dad came in and was like, what are you guys watching? And like, he hates the show. And I'm like, stop talking like your dad isn't the king of the world. Your dad? Call him President Barack Obama.
President dad to you.
Yes, it was crazy. And then like she'll say something else. I'll be like, hey, what are you up to this weekend? She's like, oh, my mom's flying in and we're gonna, and I'm like, wait, the Queen of America, she coming? You know what I mean? Like, it's just so crazy because like,
oh my god,
like when I talk about my mom, like, and I love my mom and she's the best clearly, but you know what I'm saying? When I talk about my mom, like in my voice, it sounds like I'm talking about a woman who's worked 35 years as, you know, like in an office. You know what I'm saying? Like it sound when I'm like, hey, my mom, and I'm casual, people are like, oh yeah, she works in an office. But when she says like, hey, my mom, like I thought like light was gonna start shining. You know what I mean? Like I just assumed all these things, and like, but that being said, she is honest to God, like the coolest, most non-judgmental, just very down to earth. Like I can't believe that she isn't like running everything right now. She's so amazing, and like she's like getting into like writing and directing, and I'm like, oh my God. But it's like, what is she gonna have to say? And I mean that in the most positive way. It's like you've lived 17 lifetimes. Every year you've lived has been a lifetime to everyone else. So it's like the stories this person has to tell versus me. I'm like, did you guys see that they have new Oreos in the supermarket? You know? And she's like, sorry, I was in space earlier today. And I'm like, right. Yeah.
We want to get her on the show so bad.
Malia, if
We
you're
gotta
listening, we
figure it out.
love you so much.
Malia, it's Yassir. Get over it.
Now we're gonna do the fun part.
Okay.
This is our rapid fire question segment called Pew 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 Pew.
Okay.
Okay. The
I thought it was
finger
called
guns
like
are-
Black Attack or something.
Yo, we should rename it. We should
Yeah.
rename it.
Now it's time for a black attack.
What makes you the most embarrassed to be light skinned?
Oh God.
Or
There's
what
a
was like
rapid
your what was your like peak light skin moment?
Oh, for me personally, or things that light skinned dudes do?
Either.
Because I have two. Okay.
I mean,
for
you tweet
me,
about both all the
yes,
time.
okay. For me personally, when I was a sophomore in high school and Sauconys were big, I had blue Sauconys.
What is that?
They're shoes, like Sauconys, Sauconys.
Oh, I never knew how to pronounce it.
I've never said
They
it
did
out
a
loud.
magazine ad and it said, pronounce this way. So I was wearing blue and white Sauconys. I was wearing like these baggy jeans. I was wearing a white and blue t-shirt that matched the shoes.
Oh, gosh.
Then I was wearing a blue Old Navy bubble vest
Jesus
over that. Wait, hold on, not done.
Oh my God.
Glasses, clearly. Then a blue do-rag.
Oh no.
Then
Too much.
a blue bandana over the do-rag. And I went to a football game just styling so hard, and everyone was just
my God.
you are like, I mean, you know when you're doing wrong when white people are like, you are doing too much right now. Like, I just looked like a
walk me
moron.
through the do-rag and the bandana.
Okay. So at the
Why?
time, like as a sophomore, like Dipset was really starting to pop. Like it was really happening. Joel Santana was wearing he was wearing a big bandana, like crooked.
Yeah, like kind of
and
caught to
then
the side.
yes, but then like all the New York dudes, like 50 was like wearing do-rags, but then he would roll the tail in the back and like tuck it in, and I was like, yo, how hard would it be to just do both of those and just really look amazing? So I did that. And I mean, the looks I got, I remember it honestly was like I had blood coming out of my mouth and wasn't talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how people were looking at me. Like, are you hurt? You know what I mean? So,
I really need a picture, though.
I can find one, I
Yes,
promise.
please.
So that, for me personally, that was my worst light skin moment. Light skinned dudes to this day will wear color contacts.
Yo,
And
we gotta
it
talk
is
about it.
the worst thing.
my
Like,
gosh.
it honestly, like, to me, it's like a light skinned dude wearing color contacts and then people who worship the devil. Like that, the light skinned dude is worse. It's so creepy. But light skinned dudes, like, just the idea that a light skinned dude, like, all right, it's Friday night. I'm going to go to the barber shop. I'm going to get that fresh lineup. I'm going to go home. I'm going to Scotch guard my Timbs. Wait, hold on. Let me get my color contacts because tonight is a big night for me. You know what I'm saying? Like dark-skinned dudes just show up places, and that's the best. Like, a dark-skinned dude will just show up, like, in his like work uniform or just like in his Jordans and like a t-shirt that he borrowed from his friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, but because they dark skinned, they automatically muscular and they just look amazing. But like light skinned dudes, like
Just gotta try so
no
hard.
no muscle definition, wearing wife beaters all the time. You know what I mean? Just like just they're always glistening.
Why are you so moist? It's 3
You know
in
what
the
I'm
afternoon.
saying? It's just like,
Why are you dewy at 2
right?
p.m.?
You know, and then still just like they always like play with their eyebrows.
And the squint thing they do, when
Yeah,
they
just
raise
like,
their eyebrows.
Have
and
you
then
seen the Vine do the light skin squint?
the light skin
No, I
face?
have.
The light skin
See?
face. Sorry. Is there any rap that makes you feel old?
Yes. I try to listen to everything as it comes out because when I meet a group of teenagers, I want to be like, yeah, I know that one. You know what I mean? So Future just dropped his latest album,
Yeah.
Dirty Sprite 2.
Yeah.
And I listened to it. and I
Dirty
was like,
Sprite?
Yes.
Dirty Sprite 2.
Oh.
And I was like,
People are very excited about it.
they love it. And I was like, okay, yeah. I hate this. Yeah.
Cut it up, cut it up.
Fuck up some commas, yeah. And fuck up some commas, yeah. And fuck up some commas. And fuck up some commas, yeah.
And I'm not kidding. I stopped listening to it and I listened to a song called Jesus Gave Me Water by Sam Cooke.
Cleanse myself.
Yeah. I was like, I can't do this.
Yes, gave her water. Jesus gave her water. Jesus gave her water. I wanna let his praises swell.
Ever since someone described Future as sounding like a crying microwave,
Oh my
I
God.
could not listen to it the same
That
way
is
again.
literally the best description.
Of anything.
And
I've
then someone
ever
also
heard.
described him as like he looks like a handsome catfish. In a hat.
That's actually pretty generous. At least he's not handsome. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think he's pretty cute.
Yeah, Future's
The hat game,
Yeah,
the hat game
sometimes.
is nice.
I mean,
He's a handsome dude.
He looks like every dude I grew up with. He looks like every dude in Atlanta who's like, I got Jeremy Scott's. And you're like, those are ugly shoes, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not on board.
Okay, I have another question.
Yeah.
Would you rather be in a real life version of The Walking Dead or a real life version of Jurassic Park?
100% Jurassic Park.
Why?
The idea of like zombies like is too real. I know that like you could say dinosaurs technically could be too real.
Or perhaps a realer because they existed.
Because they did
Right.
exist
No,
in
but
some
what I'm
way.
saying is that like the science involved in that is so, to me, like it's so mind boggling. I'm like, there's no way it could happen. But like the idea of something coming back to life to kill me, well, number one, like, implies that yes, there is a heaven and a hell, and someone has a problem with you. Imagine your high school bully coming back as a zombie. That level of hate, I don't want to deal with it. I'm
Not done
out.
with you, dude. It came back to fuck you up some more.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, Blake is back. I'm like, no, Blake. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. This has been so much fun.
This
This
is
is so
hilarious.
crazy. What
I'm
are you
so
doing?
sad that we have to end soon.
I know. Where can people find you? What do you want to promote? Are you selling anything? You'll have copies of your CD in the lobby. What's going on?
No.
You're doing a lot of dope things.
Yeah, I don't know. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram. I feel like those are the only things that matter now, right?
What is your Twitter handle?
My Twitter is Yassir_Lester. So YASSIR_LESTER. It's the same thing for Instagram. Watch Girls next season. It premieres in a few months. And
You also have a comic book.
oh yeah,
Don't forget about everything that
I
you're
literally
doing.
forget. Oh, I got a comic book called The Block coming out. It drops September 10th. You can buy an issue at theblockcomic.tumblr.com because your boy is too cheap to pay for that URL. You can also, if you want a hard copy, that's how you buy it. The digital download is actually free if you just want to read it and you have an iPad. Please read it for free or pay for it. I'm sinking a lot of money into it and nothing is happening. Support free art.
And where do you do stand up in LA?
Stand up in LA, you can find me anywhere from like a pawn shop to your local bail bondsman. I'm at Aladdin Bail Bonds. Comedy Store usually every Monday. And then honestly, like, I put my shows up on Twitter and Instagram, so I will.
Word.
There's always an updated schedule there. And
once in a while, you'll grace us with your presence in New York.
yes, I will be back to New York a few times over the next 6 months, and then I will be moving back here in February. So we can all hang out again.
Perhaps
Yes.
you will come back to the studio.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks so much for chopping it up with
Thanks
us.
for having me. This is so crazy.
Heben,
what up?
It's that time again.
What time is that, Tracy?
Time to buy around.
Who are you buying around for?
So I am buying around for each and every person out there who has and is living with anxiety of some sort. There's just still such a stigma when it comes to anxiety, and like people who don't have anxiety, who don't understand what it's like, and people who actually have anxiety that don't know that what they're dealing with is anxiety, and they think they're just lazy or they're just emotional or sensitive or whatever. It's tiring to live that way.
Oh, yes.
It is so tiring to live
and
that
also,
way.
like, just gets boring.
Yes.
This again.
Oh, it's time to go cry in the closet again. Yes. Cool. I guess so. Love and Hip Hop is coming on soon, but I guess I can do this first. And like I woke up this morning, I'm really bad at consistently taking my medicine the busier I get. And lately I've been all over the place. And that's like always the last thing on my mind until I wake up and I'm like, what if I just don't get out of bed today?
Yeah.
What if I just stay here forever because it feels really, really, really good?
I'm considering buying one of those like old people day by day things.
I thought about that last year and I was like, no, I have to at least hit 35. No, but it's helpful. No, it's so helpful. You can have like all your vitamins and shit in there. Like just keep it like in the bathroom where you see it.
Exactly.
I should. I'm too stubborn as of now. But anyway, I woke up this morning and I just felt very proud of me for knowing that I had to like go out in the world and like I was prepared to do it, because when you
Yes,
have anxiety,
Tracy.
that is some hard ass shit to do, to go outside when you would rather just stay in the house where you feel safe. Because when you go outside, when you have anxiety, you don't know what's going to happen to you and you worry about everything happening at once. And so like your body like responds physically, like your muscles tense and your heart beats faster, and like it's physically exhausting to do. But we do it anyway. We do it anyway. And anybody who has ever been like, I can't do this, but I'm doing it anyway because I have to, because I have obligations and shit to take care of. I'm going to pick up this t-shirt off the floor that's been here for a week. Even though I don't want to like exert the effort to do it, I'm gonna make this phone call that I'm terrified to make because I'm scared of saying something stupid. No, I feel like once a week
I know
this happens.
I gotta get together.
But yeah, it's hard, man, and those don't seem like victories to people who like to pretend that they have it all together. It's like, oh, you made a phone call. Why is that a big deal? It is a big fucking deal.
Yo,
and when
I got out of bed, bruh. I got out of bed.
Listen,
That's
I put
a
on
parade
pants today.
worthy. Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Parade
So,
worthy.
To everybody out there who fits the description, you need to celebrate yourself when you do things that look tiny, but you know is like a personal feat.
Yes.
So around for everybody out there like me and like us, and do something nice for yourself today. Buy yourself something cute, something cool, a new book, a donut. I don't know. Treat yourself to something because you a donut. Treat yourself to something because you are fucking awesome and you're a hero and you deserve it. So that's what my round is for.
Beautiful, Tracy. Yeah. Well, mine's not nearly that important. You know, when we had Rembert on the show and we were like, he asked that question about what are you into now that you didn't think you'd be into? I would like to buy around 4 candles.
Candles. You're recently getting into candles.
I never thought I'd be the kind of person who's into candles.
Are we talking particular candles?
No, all candles and
Just any
all
and all
varieties. Candles and coasters are like the 2 things I was like, I'm not going to be an adult that does that. But once you have your own space, it's like candles are so nice just for being like, yo, I'm in this room. I just want to enjoy it a little bit. Got a nice little fragrance. I found some mango pineapple once.
What?
It's really, really simple. But guys, candles will change your life.
My favorite candle scent is like the ones that smell like fresh linens and like clothes. Ugh, so good.
I'm not at levels yet where I'm at the like Yankee candle. Like I have an obsession with certain ones. There are those. I'm not there yet. I would love to aspire to be there. But honestly, guys, I've just been trying to be more attentive to like the spaces I build in the home that I have. Like, what am I doing in there? Why am I doing what I do? You know, it's like, why am I not having a candle and like just enjoying sitting and eating my dinner or something? So shout out to candles.
Shout out to candles.
Shout out to all the middle-aged women who put me on to candles. I don't know why I didn't listen to y'all earlier. Y'all be knowing. You know how when you're in like the end, like at a Marshall's line or something, and they have those like knickknacks?
Yes.
I was like, yo, let me smell these candles. And I was like, let me try this a little bit. So shout out to Marshall's.
We did it!
We did it!
Yay! I'm trying to do more air horns.
Please.
Get so upset.
Yo, shout out to Yassir Lester for holding it down and stopping by the studio before he leaves for LA.
Yay.
Check out all his work, y'all.
Shout out to the Pod Squad for
Pod Squad
hanging in there with us again. That is Jenna Weiss-Berman, whose brother is here hanging out as well.
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
Oh, if you watched Arrested Development, you'd know the Hey Brother reference. Hey, brother.
Sorry.
Get your life together, Tracy.
Sorry, I will work on
We're
it.
on episode 21, 22, and you still haven't watched it. I've been talking about this show.
I'm sorry. I deserve this. I deserve to be berated.
Shout out to Paul Ruest at Argo Studios for holding us down.
And to Eleanor Kagan and to Julia Ferlin. We are nothing without you all. Thanks to our in-house musicians, Jean Gray. You can follow her at Jean Greasy. And to Don Will of the Almighty Tanya Morgan. You can follow him at Don Will. That's at DONWILL.
As always, you can reach us at Another Round at BuzzFeed.com, Another Round on Twitter and Facebook. You can reach Tracy at
Brookie McPoverty.
And you can find me on Twitter at Heaven Rants. Heaven like the place I don't believe in. Rants like the only verb people use to describe Kanye. I'm going to make that go super fast so I don't have to pause every time. It's going to be my calling card. And if you like our show, rate us on iTunes. And if you don't, keep that shit to yourself.
Shout out to the Heaven.
Shout out to the Tracy.
Yay. Shout out to water. Water is delicious.
Yo, shout out to water.
Drink some.
Drink some water. Call your mom. Back up your data. Watch Arrested Development.
Buy a candle.
Yes.
And for God's sake, take your meds. I'm going to do that as soon as I leave the studio.
And like, even if it means you look like an old person, buy the things that will help you take your meds.
Get a pill caddy.
We love you guys. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Bye.
Meek Mill is probably somewhere in Philadelphia, like, I don't know, eating a candy bar and drinking red soda.
On a street corner.
On a street corner. And he has no idea the president's daughter is talking about him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's just sitting there probably not getting his hair cut. Wearing someone else's jewelry. Has no idea.
Oh man. Shout out to Malia, yo.
Yeah, big shout out.